about the wind.
You freak out about the wind. Because you like wind and nobody likes wind.
That is not true. I like the... Oh, wait. No, that is... Wait, what?
Nobody likes wind.
That is not true.
Who likes wind?
Sailors.
Okay. Sailors and wind farmers.
And wind farmers. The wind is good. Breeze is good.
Remember when that big chunk of shit blew into your wine when we were sitting outside?
There was just a twig.
Wind sucks.
It's called roughage. It's okay. It's high in fiber. I'm good.
Okay.
I eat too much meat. I need to
drink some twigs.
Yes.
Okay. Good luck with that.
I tried. I got a thing of I try different juices. I don't know why. I just do. And I thought I'd try I don't know. Really plain?
That's the helicopter.
Coming from me. You know what? They like wind too. It helps them fly.
No, it does not.
What was I saying? Oh, I got kale juice. I don't know why I got kale juice.
Yeah.
I feel like a weird...
You're like a hippie now.
No, I'm not. That's not a hippie thing.
Kale juice?
That's not...
It's like a yuppie thing, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's a yuppie thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a yuppie. I'll give you...
Did you like it?
No, it's disgusting. But now I feel obligated, so I have to drink this. I have to choke down a bunch of kale juice because I paid my good money for it.
It's going to make you have green poos.
No, actually, I had... I was eating beet chips the other day. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the next morning I freaked out for a second because I saw, holy shit, my poop is red. And then I thought, you know what? I have blueberries. If I eat blueberries, maybe I can make my poop purple.
So bizarre.
Anyways, welcome to Bloody Shed Lounge.
Welcome. Way more than you wanted to know. How's everybody doing?
Hey, it's been a while. We're probably a little bit rusty. But...
We're a little rusty and we're a little bit like caged animals, I think.
Okay, maybe that. And we're also...
Clearly, if you're talking about the color of your poop.
We're only one sheet to the wind, so...
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, no, not too bad.
I feel like we did share a bottle of wine, but I don't feel like it made us intoxicated.
No, I think we're...
Maybe that's a bad thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait, where's my...
I did make you a cocktail, though.
All right, I'm good.
You're going to regret making those sounds because you're going to have to edit that out.
No, I'm going to leave it in because, you know what, whatever.
Okay. Okay.
I love that you just stare at me for a second like I'm a nut.
I just picture it's funny, too, because earlier we were talking about our topic, and originally I thought our topic was... murderers who murdered murderers. And then I made myself so confused.
Way overcomplicated.
I way overcomplicated it, just like you did right now.
No, we're just going to talk about... Well, I mean, you want me to tell you the story that inspired why I thought this might be a good idea?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just... happened to come across this story in the news while just lounging in bed and watching TV on my computer or whatever. And it's this guy, Henry Frank Herbig. And he's paralyzed for attempting to kill his wife.
Okay.
And so basically September of 2019, 9:30 p.m., this is Virginia, and Courtney Thompson and her mom, Kathy, they're just sitting there just chilling, watching TV, and they hear a noise, and that dog is freaking out. Rah, 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 rah. So she goes to the patio, lets her dog out, and turns on the light, and there's some dude in dark clothes and a bright red wig and a fake beard. What the fuck? And he chases her into the house, knocks her down unconscious with a large, a wrench. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, she comes to. And because I guess in the real world, people forget that, it's not like the movies. You don't just knock them out and that's it. People come to moments later. So she comes to and her mom's yelling, "Please don't kill me," as he's beating her over the fucking head.
Right.
Yeah. And so she runs to a drawer and she pulls out a gun. And he's in the hallway about to chase her down, and she points and pulls the trigger.
Nothing
happens. So you got to cock the goddamn gun. So she cocks the gun, fires again, and shoots him. And he goes down. And she tries to fire again, and it misfires. Like, dude, get a better fucking gun for one thing.
Well, you're not assuming you'll have to use it.
True. But before she gets any further with this, the dude says, Courtney, don't shoot me. I'm dying.
What?
Exactly. Henry, is that you?
Oh, my gosh.
Her 65-year-old stepfather, Henry Frank Herbig IV. Then he starts talking to Kathy, his ex-wife, her mom. Kathy, I love you. Don't shoot me again. After beating her over the fucking head.
What an asshole.
Right? And so, don't shoot me again. I'm dying. So they call the cops. They're sitting out on the front stoop or whatever, and the cops show up, and there's a dude in there. And they were estranged. Kathy had divorced him or was separated from him in Florida and moved up to stay with her daughter. And he drove 900 miles a couple of months later. I got I don't know what's going on here. I have too much saliva.
Take a breath.
To say we're out of practice, we're out of practice.
It'll be okay. You need some more Lionel Richie music.
I do need Lionel Richie. Okay. Anyway.
Hot in here.
It's not hot. It's cold out there because of the wind. You want to go out and enjoy the wind?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, keep going. So,
okay.
Lionel and his wig.
Lionel?
What was it? Is that his name, Lionel?
No, Henry. Henry Frank Herbig.
Oh, Lionel Richie. I was talking about Lionel Richie. Oh, my God. I'm losing my mind.
Oh,
maybe we are a little drunk.
Well, no. We only had one. Well, have we had wine in a while?
Well, we had 2 glasses of wine each.
No, but I mean, when was the last time we were drinking?
A few minutes ago.
No. I mean
prior to this?
Yeah, we went up to
last weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So anyway, Kathy is injured, but alive, and they're waiting for the cops. And so Kathy had separated from Henry, not Lionel, Henry, a few months earlier in Florida after 10 years of marriage, and she'd come up to Virginia to live with her daughter. And he drives 900 miles to Virginia, and now he's on the floor. He's not writhing in pain because he's paralyzed from the waist down.
Wow.
Because when she shot him, she shot right through his spinal cord. So the cops find him, and now he has to go through court sitting in his hospital bed on video camera while they arraign him. Because they found in his car a murder kit, including garbage bags, duct tape, like disguises, zip ties, the works.
Yeah, so he was planning on killing them.
Yeah. So that made me think.
But she fought back.
She had a gun. She ran for it, and he was dumb enough to think, well, because he was in the
badass bitch.
He was in the military, and you would think, well, a military person should know. No, he was in the Air Force. He never was on the ground. He didn't realize, when you knock them out, they come too, right?
Well, he didn't take into account that maybe she would go for a weapon.
Yeah. So, that just got me thinking that, that'd be kind of an interesting episode as we talk about murderers or serial killers who tried to kill, and at some point, well, the tables turned on them.
Right.
So, your turn. You tell me what you found.
Well,
put me on the spot.
Like I said, I was overthinking all of this. Like, it had to be murderers who murdered murderers who murdered murderers.
Oh my God, that hurts my brain.
I know. But I did... when I was thinking about this, I was thinking of famous serial killers who were murdered in prison, which we're all aware of. Mm-hmm. But what I realized is that I wasn't aware of the details of some of these. Like, we all know that Jeffrey Dahmer was murdered in prison.
Yeah.
But that's really all I knew. And I'd always kind of heard grumblings of kind of this like conspiracy theory that, the guards left him alone on purpose. But I really didn't know any of the details, like who did it or the circumstances. So I sort of dug into it a little bit, and I'm really not going to talk that much about Jeffrey Dahmer because I feel like we all know quite a bit about him.
I don't know who he is.
Really? Who are you? Of course you do. But he was murdered by Christopher Scarver. And I want to talk a little bit about Christopher Scarver because I didn't know anything about him.
Right.
He was born in 1969, and he was the second of 5 children born and raised in Milwaukee. And he dropped out of high school in his junior year, and his mother kicked him out of the house because she said he had become kind of an alcoholic. But he went to this program. He started a program called the Wisconsin Conservation Corps training program, where he was studying to become a carpenter apprentice. And he had a supervisor that had promised him a position after he graduated from the program, but that supervisor was let go. And when that supervisor was let go, then kind of that promise of that position after he graduated was also gone. So he was really resentful of that. And he went back to the program headquarters and, long story short, shot and killed the new supervisor, demanded money from him, ended up with $15, and then shot and killed the supervisor that replaced the supervisor that had promised him a position.
Man, that's vindictive.
Kind of vindictive, and I just also think that he was really desperate and really didn't have a lot going on in his life. And he was a young guy, you know. I'm not making excuses for him, but it was a terrible situation. So he was serving, and he also shot another person that was at the office. So he was serving 2 life sentences and in prison with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay.
And he was then assigned to a work duty with Jeffrey Dahmer and another prisoner named Jesse Anderson. They were assigned to clean up this gymnasium area. And
Ew, gross. There's lots of creepy sweat going on. And
well, I mean, the prisoners have to clean all kinds of stuff. Prison sweat. But they have to clean all kinds of stuff. They have all kinds of different duties assigned to them.
Right.
But one thing that I don't really understand, and it's never been clear to me, is why Christopher Scarver was carrying around an article in his back pocket about Jeffrey Dahmer at the time of the killing. That's never been made clear.
Well, I think I've seen articles that he tried to steer clear of him.
It was well known by the guards that Scarver very much disliked Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why is because Jeffrey Dahmer was kind of I don't know if you want to call it a prankster or a jokester within the prison system, but he would do things like he put up a sign that said like cannibal anonymous meetings, meet here. He would shape his food into the shape of a limb and cover it in ketchup.
Of a limb? Oh, like a severed limb?
A severed limb and cover it in ketchup. He was known to like poke people with things, which...
Well, that happens a lot in prison, but it's usually
But Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't a badass by any means. Like, what are you doing fucking with people?
Well, because he was just not so very not right in the head that I don't think he could grasp. You understand, you're in fucking prison. Like, they know how to make these things called shivs.
Right. So...
What, really
he was left alone. So Scarver was left alone with him and another prisoner that was serving a life sentence for murdering his wife. And at one point, this is Scarver's account, at one point, someone poked him with something, which Dahmer was kind of known to do.
While they're cleaning?
While they were cleaning.
Okay.
And while he was like filling a mop bucket, someone like poked him in the back with something.
Right.
And when he turned around, both guys were kind of like laughing under their breath, but neither would admit who had done it.
Fuck you. No.
So as they went off to work on their assigned duties, Scarver confronted first Jeffrey Dahmer and pulled out the article that he had, the news article he had in his back pocket, and kind of confronted him with it. And then Scarver had a bar from the gym, like a weight bar that he had taken
Dumbbell?
from the gym.
Oh, just the bar that you screw the weights onto?
A bar that you screw the weights onto.
Ooh,
and beat him over the head.
They need to make foam weights.
Right. Well, I think that would defeat the purpose.
They're prisoners. Why are you letting them get stronger?
Well, I don't know. This whole situation is weird where they were left alone.
Yeah.
And so there's always been a lot of, that's hence the conspiracies, because there's, why were they left alone?
Okay.
And even Scarver later says that he thought there was a conspiracy that he was put alone with these two men that everyone knew he hated.
Right. Like he wasn't part of the conspiracy, but people said, you know what? If you put gasoline with this, shit's going to set on
fire. They knew Scarver hated him and put him alone with him. So I will never know why that was done and why there were no guards around. Right. It's ridiculous. But he beat Jeffrey Dahmer over the head and he was killed on the spot. His skull was crushed.
Right.
Then he proceeded to go and find Anderson, who was in a separate area of where they were cleaning, and then beat him. And Anderson died like 2 days later.
Oh.
But there's some interviews with Scarver about all of this, and he talks about it pretty openly. And
well, he's in prison for life already, so what does it matter to him, right?
It's kind of interesting to me, too, that with his 11th grade education and the difficulties he's faced, he's pretty intelligent. He's very well spoken, and he writes poetry. He has a book of poetry that's available.
Oh.
But I'm not really promoting that. I'm just saying.
Poetry by the man who killed Dahmer.
I don't know I haven't read his poetry. I don't know what it's about, but
Dahmer, you're a goner.
Oh my God. Hopefully that's not one of the poems.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. But I never knew the actual details of how Jeffrey Dahmer died. I just knew that
I knew
he had
that
been
he
murdered.
was killed, but I never had dug into it. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
The weird thing is when I was starting to dig into this idea for a show episode, I noticed that like the same three names would pop up. So it was a struggle. Like, all right, how do I find? Because I was trying to not pick ones that were in prison because, well, you know, you're gonna be a serial killer, and half the time they're doing things that ain't no one gonna like in prison. So you're kind of fucked. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm just kind of rambling right now. I need a drink. Where's my drink?
He spilled it.
I did not spill it.
That's why you have a tippy cup.
A tippy cup? A sippy cup?
It's a tippy cup for you.
What was I saying?
Something. You were certainly saying something.
I think
you were saying something about how you didn't want to do something about something.
Well, I don't like doing stories that when you look this up that you find, oh, okay, there's all the same three names that everyone talks about. And I think in this case it was like Neal Falls, Dean Corll, and there's another one, of course, I'm not remembering right now, but they're the names that if you look up like serial killers who were murdered,
you're right.
They're the ones that come up.
Not that they're not interesting, because they are.
Just so many people cover that. I mean, just
and some of them are complicated. The Corll story is super complicated.
Oh, well, yeah, like Dean Corll is a story for another time.
One of those guys just died from COVID the other day.
Yeah, he did. David Brooks, he was one of the so to give clarity to anyone wondering. So Dean Corll was the Candyman. He, in the 70s, early 70s, killed 28 teen boys and had two
accomplices,
assistants. Yeah, they helped him. They basically lured other teens, and one of them eventually, Wayne Henley Jr., turned on him and killed him. Mm-hmm. So there's that one. But
both of those guys ended up serving life sentences.
Yeah, and David Brooks is the one that you're remembering. That just in 2020 died of COVID. Mm-hmm. Like Neal Falls was killed with his own gun. Who had likely killed 9 victims. He was picking up prostitutes or hiring them escorts. And Heather Saul was his 10th intended victim. And he shows up at her house and tells her, live or die, as a question. There's a question for you. Next thing you know, he's pushing her into the house with a gun to her, and she grabs a rake and
a rake?
Yeah. I know.
I guess grab what you can, but how do you defend yourself with a rake?
Oh, my question was, what is a rake doing inside your house? But whatever. Anyway, so yeah, she grabs a rake. He puts the gun down to pull the rake away from her. So she grabs the gun and reaches over her shoulder, just shoots the gun blindly behind her and manages to shoot him right in the head.
Wow.
Yeah. And so nobody knew anything about this guy or that he was a potential serial killer, is because after she killed him, they go look in his car and he has like a murder kit, and they look at his house and they are able to tie him to like 10 or 9 other potential victims. So that's one of the others. Mm-hmm. Of course, okay, so probably one of the more famous ones of a murderer who was killed, not a serial killer, but is Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right. I was wondering if you would mention him.
I feel like we have to mention him, but everyone has talked about that whole story. I mean, there's freaking movies about it, and you know, I mean, there's a little bit of new information, but nothing that changes the story any. So yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald. I didn't want to go into it a little bit. I mean, he was shot by Jack Ruby, who was like a nightclub owner who probably had some criminal underworld connections and you know, like procuring women for people who were visiting town and shit. So this is a guy that kills Lee Harvey Oswald in the police building, the Dallas police building, and yes, he
lots of conspiracy.
Lots of conspiracy. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Here I'm rambling about it, so fuck that. Right. Your turn. You have another story? Well,
I've been looking into Gerard John Schaefer.
Oh, I don't know that
name. So he's kind of a lesser known Florida serial killer. In 1973, he was arrested and sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Susan Place, age 17, and Georgia Jessup, age 16. He had previously been arrested by his own deputy sheriff precinct for the abduction of 2 other teenage girls.
So wait. So he was, I'm not sure that processed in my brain. So he worked for the police department?
He was a sheriff's deputy.
He was a sheriff, and he was arrested by his own department.
Exactly. So what happened is he had picked these girls up for hitchhiking, and in his words, wanted to scare them straight, sort of. So he had tied them to trees, handcuffed them and tied them to trees because he wanted to scare them from hitchhiking again.
Okay.
But in their testimony, he actually had forgotten something that he needed in part of his like murder kit and left, and they were able to escape and ended up at the sheriff's office where he worked. In the meantime, he called and confessed to his boss what had happened. And
yeah, because he probably realized, shit, they got away.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. So he was convicted of that, but they let him go. And he served a very short sentence, and then they let him go. And within 2 months after that, he was killing again. And when I say again, it's because he's thought to have committed a lot of previous murders, but wasn't convicted of those murders.
Okay.
So in 1973, he was actually convicted of the murder of these other 2 teenage girls. He was the oldest of 3, raised in Wisconsin and moved to Florida when he was about 14 years old. And he was raised in a very Catholic family, and at one point did try to become a priest, but was rejected from that. But at a young age, there was a lot of those typical red flags where he was like a peeping Tom and injured animals and all of those typical red flag things.
Yeah.
But he did become a deputy of this small Florida community called Martin County.
A community that obviously didn't do background checks.
Well, he was educated. He had, received a criminal justice degree, and he was a likable guy. And
they just didn't know about peeping Tom.
I don't think that was part of it. I don't think he confessed to that. He wasn't ever charged with any of that. That was when he was young.
Okay.
But and because he had this position of authority, he had a lot of access to young teenage girls because, he's a sheriff's deputy, so he could pick them up for random charges.
Right.
But and he also kind of had this easy smile and a lot of confidence. So he was convicted and he's serving 2 life sentences. And in the 1990s, he reconnects with an old high school girlfriend named Sandra London.
Wait, while he's in prison?
While he's in prison.
Wait, so she's just sitting there thinking, you know what, I miss high school. I'm going to talk to my old flame from high school?
Well, that might be less disturbing than what actually happens.
Oh, God. Okay, go on.
She becomes a true crime writer.
Oh, okay.
And so she connects with him. And in an interview I watched with him, he said it was all about the money for her. But I don't know that it was like that in the beginning. Maybe it always was for her, but not for him. But she remembered him as being a writer back in the 60s and said, hey, are you still writing? I want to help you publish these books. And so that's kind of how they reconnected. But she was also previously engaged to another Florida serial killer named Danny Rolling. He was also known as the Gainesville Ripper.
Oh, yeah.
So she has her own, in my opinion, issues. And I don't know if she does this just to gain access.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like that.
As an aside, I think we're going to do an episode soon about the people who are in love with like murderers.
I've always wanted to do an episode on that because it fascinates me. I feel like she's doing this to gain access, but there are women and men too that are infatuated and obsessed with serial killers and fall in love with them. I don't get it. Anyway, so she helps him publish 2 books. The first one is called Killer Fiction. And then there was a follow-up called Beyond Killer Fiction, which is he calls it just horror writing. But it's really an account of murder and how to be a serial killer. It's sort of like...
Is this like confessional, thinly veiled as fiction?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That seems to happen a lot.
But he was really defensive about that topic. He says, absolutely not. It's just fiction. I did all this research on criminal psychology, and that's what it's based on.
Actually murdering someone, I guess that's technically research.
Right. The guy is a total narcissistic asshole.
Okay.
So they have a falling out, and he's like lawsuit happy. He's smart. He has a pretty high IQ, and he has a good understanding of the law. He goes on to sue anyone and everyone he can, including ex-prosecutors and his former defense attorneys, who also at one point, he based one of his appeals on the fact that his previous defense attorney married his ex-wife. His wife that he was married to while he was arrested goes on to marry his defense attorney. I know.
You done hurt my brain right there.
Right. It's like a Southern Gothic novel.
Okay. Just move on because I don't want to process that. There was not incest. There was a bunch of.
I know that it's a crazy story. So another little interesting side bit is that Sandra London also released a collaborative book with Nicholas Clow, who was
right. We just talked about him.
Right. He was the Paris vampire.
Yeah.
Right. They released a book together in 2004.
So we can safely say she has a type.
She has a type. Psycho. Right. Yeah. So Schaefer's smart. And he knows the laws, and he spends a lot of time researching in the legal library, and he makes friends with a lot of the other prisoners and helps them in their defense, but at the same time is also snitching on them and using the information they're giving him to the prosecutors.
Right. So he is former law enforcement, and he's snitching on people, and he's in prison.
And he's lawsuit happy himself.
This is a recipe for success.
He's a disaster. I watched about 2.5 hours of interviews with him, and he made me want to pull my hair out. He never stops talking about himself. Classic narcissist.
Oh,
all about
seems
him,
like the guy you might want to stab yourself.
Right. He's crazy.
Okay.
He's just a classic narcissist. previous to him actually being murdered in prison, there had been like 3 other attempts on his life by other inmates. Like someone tried to set his jail cell on fire while he was in this jail cell.
That doesn't usually go very well.
No.
Not much to burn in there.
Well, I don't know, but
Okay.
he just annoyed the hell out of people. So in 1995, he had a cellmate named Vincent Rivera who was serving a life sentence for murdering his wife. And Rivera stabbed Schaefer to death. He stabbed him in the eyes. And stabbed him in the eyes and then stabbed him like 47 times. Supposedly a fight over hot water.
Over hot water.
I don't know.
They had hot water?
I don't know. This is what the records say. But I was thinking, if I had to listen to this guy Schaefer talk night and day in a small cell, I would want to.
That was just the camel that broke the hare's back.
Yeah, exactly. I would want to stab this guy in the freaking eyes or the mouth or something. He was really an annoying guy. But right about the time that he was killed, investigators had reopened up previous cases that they had been looking into, because back in 1973, when they had served a search warrant on his mother's home, they had taken in all kinds of evidence based on other missing women. Including jewelry and some like a jewelry box and just a lot of like little trophies that they think he had collected.
Okay.
Including 3 women that he had ties to, one of which was a childhood friend that he had been caught peeping on when he was young.
Wait, when he was a kid, he was peeing on her?
A peeping Tom when he had been peeping. Peeing on? No, peeping.
I thought you were just trying to say he was pee-peeing on.
Oh, peeping. I don't know what the correct word is.
Peeping Tom? I don't know. Spying on.
Spying on?
I don't know.
He was a weirdo peeping Tom.
He probably would have pee-peed on her if he
probably. And other 2 were women that he had dated that had disappeared. So they found like all these little trophies of these women. So they were never able to actually charge him with anything. And then he was murdered. So none of that ever was resolved.
So there's a question for you. Do you think they should have? Like he's dead, but don't you think that
I think they took it as far as they could, but because they were never able to locate the bodies or any further evidence, and when he was murdered, there's no chance of getting any other confessions or anything further. I think too, sometimes they let that go because the guy's dead.
Right, but the family wants some sort of closure. They want to know, like, so what the fuck happened?
I don't know legally how that happens. I think once the person that's suspected is dead, they kind of will often just let it go.
See, I think like if I was a brother to that woman, I'd probably still hound because like, okay, I get he's dead, but I want to know what the fuck happened. I want the whole story out.
I think there's private investigators that sometimes can find some answers on that. But
crazy.
You can petition for records.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, once he died, then there was no way of knowing any further knowledge. And I don't think he ever would have confessed anyway. And really, if you look at that disgusting fiction that he wrote, and I watched him recite some of the fiction, and it's so creepy. It's super creepy.
Not well written?
It's just disturbing. Yeah. It's just purely disturbing.
So it'd be interesting to have to give that to someone who has no clue what the story is and have them read it and see what they think of it. You know what I mean?
It's not good.
It's not good?
No,
okay.
It's not good. It's just purely disturbing. It's not good. And it's kind of almost disgusting that it was published, knowing why.
I wonder if you can get the book.
No, it's out of print. Yeah, it's out of publication. And of course, there's collectors.
I'm a morbid asshole. I would want to find the book just.
You can find excerpts. Is that the word?
Excerpts. Yeah.
Excerpts.
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 Experts.
Excerpts.
Excerpts.
Yeah.
That's a weird word.
Segments. That is the alcohol talking.
Anyway, I don't recommend reading it because it's really, really gross.
You know what? I'm going to take your word for that. I have no interest in reading murderers.
Don't bother. Don't give it any
thinly
energy.
veiled admission of guilt.
Don't give it any energy.
So I kind of rounding this out, the last story that I dug into, because you know me, I can't help it. I have to dig a little further back.
How far back are we going?
I only went to 1924 for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not that bad. So, you know, there's still some. I mean, there wasn't the internet around, kids, so it's a little bit historical. But I found a guy named Richard Hartwell Heaton. And he wasn't a serial killer, but he was a little bit of a whack job, at least at this point in his life. He was just a 33-year-old partner in a brokerage firm, Heaton and Fisher. So, you know, he owned this company with a buddy, and he was well-known, reputable citizen living in Louisville, Kentucky. And, you know, he had kind of he was a thin guy, had that smiling, expressive, you know, generally friendly kind of guy. But there was like a little bit of a hint of some like intensity to this guy. He was a little bit moody. I guess you could say is kind of borne out by his insane jealousy about his wife. He had this pretty wife that he, Mary Leahy Wiesen, that he married. She was 15 years old when they got married.
And how old was he?
When they got married, I don't know, but she was definitely younger than him.
Yeah, that's young.
Yeah. Well, 8 years earlier, so 15. I'm not going to do the math. Don't make me do math.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, 8 years before shit went
He
down.
wasn't 15 also. We
No,
just know
he was
that.
not.
He was a grown-up.
He was a grown-up and found himself some little teeny bopper to marry. So there's your first problem. But 1924, I think that was sadly a little bit common.
I don't know.
Yeah. But they had eloped 8 years earlier. She was only 15. Things were fine. They had 2 kids, and then like 1920 rolls along, and just something kind of snaps in his brain. Oh, that's the wrong sound. That's my kill sound.
I know.
I can't use. Okay.
You need a new sound.
I need a new sound for when somebody. Yeah. There went his brain. And he started thinking everyone on the planet was trying to get with his wife. Like he took up weird hobbies like hypnotism and shit. Like he would take hypnotism classes because he was trying to entrance his wife. You know,
you will love me and be faithful.
Right. And he enlisted the help of a childhood friend, William Gates, who was just a couple of years younger.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, well, they did call him Bill Gates then. So don't get confused when I say Bill Gates, because he was called Bill Gates. And he was like polar opposite. He was just a big, broad-shouldered kind of salesman kind of guy. He worked for Procter & Gamble. He was living in Logansport, Indiana, with his aunt. And Gates and Heaton, they'd grown up together as childhood friends. Gates was his best man at his wedding to a fucking 15-year-old. Even worked for him for a bit before taking that job with Procter & Gamble. And, you know, he was popular. He was well known in Louisville, but he moved on. He was doing his own thing. But he'd come back to Louisville a lot to visit his father-in-law. And Heaton, his jealousy, no one was trustworthy, right? He was pretty sure Gates was fucking his wife. But he faked the friendship for another year or so before a whole plan. I mean, he even enlisted Gates' help roughing up other men that he thought were trying to break up his family home.
Was there anything actually going on, or was it all in his head?
As far as I can find, no, there wasn't anything going on. He was just an insanely, I'm telling you, jealousy doesn't pan. Don't kill off your jealousy if you're jealous of shit, because it ain't going to go well.
But if there's something actually going on, sometimes you have to listen to that intuitive feeling. But if you're just being insanely jealous like this, why?
In the 1920s, This is the 1920s. It wasn't that easy. Well, a phone wasn't that available. Cars weren't that available. And Gates lived in another fucking city.
Right.
Yet somehow he's getting with my wife. And so he even enlists Gates' help to go rough up other guys that he thought were trying to break up his family home, right? They went to South Carolina in November to beat up this guy, William Wall. Rumors were they'd done the same to Bill Anderson in Houston. And eventually, at some point, Gates had to have thought, like, dude, is this ever going to come back on me? But he probably didn't.
Right.
So he's going about his life, and he's back in Louisville visiting his father-in-law. And Heaton calls him and says, hey, I need you to come to the office. It's Thursday night. Come to my office. Well, all right. So Gates shows up. He walks through the door, and next thing you know, Heaton and some dude, giant dude, Frank Corll, who's a private detective, they abduct him, handcuff him, take his pistol out of his pocket, and throw him in the car. And I'm dragging him through the streets. And well, I guess you don't drag him through the streets if you're in a car.
Dragged him through the street to the car.
Yeah, okay, there we go. And so they drive him down an alley, take him through a garage and into a house. And next thing Gates knows, he's on a mattress. Like they had thrown a mattress on the ground, and these like staple spikes, they're hammering into the floor on the second story. They're basically staking him spread eagle across a mattress to the ground, right?
This is toxic love.
Yeah. He's like gobsmacked. What the fuck is going on, right? And he's processing this. He's seeing there's medical instruments and like rubber aprons and a hatchet.
Oh, this sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, small boxes. You can see sulfuric acid. Like, holy shit, are they gonna like butcher me up and put me in containers and ship me to Texas? What the fuck's going on? And Heaton grabs a bottle of chloroform, a funnel, and a cotton rag. And he's going for Gates. So Gates thinks quickly and, okay, this is chloroform. So he holds his breath, right? He takes a big breath. And as Heaton is holding it to his nose, he kind of fakes like he's passing out.
Oh, very smart.
And so
I have to remember that.
So then Heaton starts unbuttoning Gates' vest. Like, oh, okay, I gotta think of something else because this isn't gonna go well. This isn't just knocking me out. This dude's gonna like fucking slaughter me. So thankfully, as Heaton is unbuttoning his vest, he feels like something hard in his vest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I forgot I got a backup gun. I got the fucking...
How many guns is this guy wearing?
Yeah, the cops questioned about that. Like, how many fucking guns do you have? But they were able to determine, no, it's just he likes his guns. But yeah, he had a little Dillinger, like, in his pocket that they hadn't caught. They pulled the one gun off of him and didn't think to look for more guns. Because who the fuck carries more than one gun?
That's bizarre.
So...
Maybe he had a reason to be paranoid.
Well, remember, they used to go beat up people together, right? So he's pretending he's passed out, but now he's like, shit, this guy's going to like start slicing into me or some shit. So he decides his next brainiac idea is to start mumbling incoherently about how, like, my aunt in Loganport is. I got to reenact this. My aunt in Loganport. I don't know. What do you sound like when you're like half?
I don't want to know. That's after another bottle of wine.
Yeah, that's true. But he starts muttering that I sent letters to my aunt in Loganport that if anything happens to me, that it was Heaton. Heaton probably did it, and send the letters to the cops.
It sounds like some really bad, like, noir film.
Yeah, well, Heaton fell for it. He's like, okay, wait, I better not slice him up now.
Because the aunt knows.
Yeah, so they'll pin this shit on me. So, okay, that bought me a little fucking time. So Friday night, Heaton takes him to the office, gunpoint, and makes him call his aunt to say, send the letters to a brokerage, and which I'm sure his aunt, because the letters didn't fucking exist. There were no fucking letters.
She's like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Just send the letters. So, okay, whatever. So Heaton takes Gates back to the room and nails him back down to the ground and to the floor all along the way. So then Heaton's business partner, Fisher, William Fisher, knew something was up. He knew he had rented. This was a house that they had rented for this thing. He shows up and goes upstairs. Like, he's trying to confront Heaton about this. Like, this is a terrible idea. What the fuck are you thinking?
Well, and meanwhile, while he's doing all of this, beating up his best friend because he thinks that he's sleeping with his wife, and he's been gone for all these days doing this. She probably is fooling around while he's gone doing this.
You would think, but no. He had hired detectives to stand guard that wouldn't let her leave the house. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. So yeah, his business partner even shows up and says, dude, I know what's going on. You've rented this house. You told me there's only one man left. And as soon as I have attended to him, all my troubles will be over and I'll return to the office. Because he was like being a shitty business partner and not showing up and stuff. You know?
Right. He was distracted.
He was a little distracted. So Fisher's like warning him against basically madness. Of course, Heaton's not going to listen to this shit. I'm not going to do anything to him. I'm just going to, put a little fear of God into him so he knows not to fuck with my wife.
I've noticed that's a common thing. A lot of these psychos, they always say that, I just wanted to scare them and make sure that they understood, to do the right thing.
Yeah. Never mind the razor sharp hatchet and boxes and rubber. Right. What? No.
I was doing the world a favor by scaring them into doing the right thing.
Right. No. So here's a weird thing is that he then asks Fisher, well, while you're here, I haven't been able to sleep in 3 days. I got to keep an eye on Heaton. I need some fucking rest. Can you like watch him for the night so I can go home and sleep? Fisher's like, no. Okay, an hour so I can go home and just stay here for an hour so I can go home and see my wife. The dude actually agrees to watch like a random person. He doesn't know who he is.
Well, at that point, that's when you would set the guy free.
You would think. He goes upstairs. He's watching the guy. Gates has like a cloth thrown over his face, so he doesn't know who he is. Although he has a hunch because you can see Gates' hat and coat sitting on like over somewhere in the room. Mm-hmm. And he asks, are you okay? Can I get you anything? Well, no, he doesn't say anything because Gates doesn't say a damn thing because in his mind, he can't see shit. He's got a mask over his face or a cloth over his face. So he's thinking, I don't know what's going on. For all I know, Heaton's right there, just waiting, like, fuck this shit. So 30 minutes later, Heaton's back and Fisher pleads with him again. And no, it's okay, man. I'm just going to scare him a little bit. It's all right. Okay. He's trying to steal my woman. So Fisher leaves and doesn't call the cops. Doesn't do anything about this. And then on Saturday, so now we're at day 3. Heaton's wife actually slips her detective guard and gets a taxi, comes to the house and like, is he here? What are you doing? And so like they have this hushed argument. Do you have Gates here? Yes. And I'm going to give him the scare of his life. I bet he won't bother either of us again. She pleads with him, give up the madness, and he's not listening to any of it. And he says, I got to go upstairs. I got to keep watching on him in case he tries to make a break. And goes upstairs. While she's downstairs, she hears suddenly, don't shoot. Bang, bang. And she starts running upstairs, and she hears someone calls down, "Who's there?" So it's just me, it's Mary, and Gates just like plows past her, and what the fuck? So she runs upstairs, and her husband is now dying on the ground with 2 gunshots in him, one in his neck and one just above his heart. And a doctor runs in.
Doctor
Yeah,
runs
just
in?
out of nowhere, a doctor
I'm
runs in.
here to save the day.
Right.
Random doctor on the way.
It's not Dr. Doolittle or whatever that guy's name was.
Roger Ramjet.
That's it, Roger Ramjet. Where'd I get Dr. Doolittle from?
know.
I knew it was some cartoon guy. No, basically, as Gates runs out of the house, he sees some dude across the street and says, "I just shot someone. Don't tell anyone."
Don't tell anyone.
What the fuck? So,
Where was this? These are a bunch of
this
lunatics.
is in Louisville.
Lunaticville. My God.
So anyway, of
How do
course,
these people survive?
I don't know. So yeah, this doctor, Dr. Schumver, he runs across the street because he heard the shots and Gates told him, and runs upstairs, and she's up there and she's asking, "Is he gonna die?" And the doctor says, "I don't think so."
Okay.
And
My professional opinion,
yeah.
I think he's going to make it.
And suddenly she hears Bill.
He's back. He
Bill
came
Gates
back.
is downstairs. Again, wrong Bill Gates, guys. Yeah, he thought, shit, I left my hat and coat behind.
Oh, my.
So-
Get a new hat and coat.
but that's evidence. Now I just shot somebody. What the fuck do I do? So he's calling out from downstairs. Is he dead?
I need my hat and coat.
Yeah, he runs upstairs. They confirm, oh shit, he's dead. He grabs his coat, runs off, gets
I don't
on.
know why we're turning this into a theatrical piece. But I'm having fun.
So Gates runs off. He gets on a streetcar. He's still got. Oh, I missed that part. I didn't explain that part.
How he was, well, you said that he had been like nailed to the floor.
Yeah, okay. I totally missed that part. So basically, after arguing with his wife, Heaton goes upstairs, and Gates is saying, "Dude, I gotta fucking piss or shit or whatever. Just can you please, for the love of God."
Oh, yeah. You missed that part, how
I
he
did.
escaped.
I totally missed that.
That's okay.
So yeah, he lets him like stretch his legs and go take a dump or whatever the hell, and he gets back and before Heaton could finish shackling him, he pulls the Derringer
The
out
little
of his
secret gun.
out of his
It says bang.
vest. And it's only a Derringer only has 2 shots, so
I don't know.
he used both of them.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That he's like hops on a streetcar. He's still got the fucking handcuffs dangling from him. And he says later in his testimony that like, nobody even asked me about it. I'm just sitting there like dazed because I just shot a man to death and handcuffs hanging from me. And
Nobody went. Yeah, if you see a guy like that on public transportation, you're not asking questions.
no, you're not asking questions.
It's like, no, please just don't make eye contact with me.
Right.
I've been there. I took the public transit for like 15 years. You don't make eye contact.
No, you just let them do their thing. He gets off a couple of blocks later, and you can go to work not having with an interesting story.
Right.
But yeah, he goes and
then you check the news that night, and you're like,
Right.
oh, that's who that guy was.
oh, it was in the news. Yeah, he he basically disappears for a couple of days. He went to his father-in-law's house, and that's the weird thing is that the cops saying that they knew who had done it, and they showed up, and like the scene was a little bit self-evident, right? Mm-hmm. But where the fuck is Gates? Well, he was at his father-in-law's house. Did you just never think to go check there? That's where he was the whole fucking time.
It doesn't sound like there was a lot of sharp tools in this shed of people in this whole story, to be honest.
So anyway, well, the thing that like he actually gets like within a week he's exonerated.
Well, what happened to the guy? Did he die?
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Oh, he died.
Yeah, he died.
Oh, now you can make your sound.
Oh, he's dead.
He dead.
Yeah, and Gates probably thought, I'm clear, this is all good. They exonerated him March 16th, just days after this in 1924. And then he's rearrested because, oh, that's right. That's that fucker that beat up a couple people. One in South Carolina with Heaton and one in Houston. So.
What the hell? This is like the Apple Dumpling Gang. No, Don Knotts is way smarter.
Yes. Well, it depends on what Barney Fife might have been involved in this. I could
Bunch
see.
of characters.
Yeah. So there you go. That was the last story I found.
So what happened to 15-year-old Mary Lou or whatever her name was?
I mean, she was a widow.
Probably. I hope she married one of his friends that she was having an affair with the entire time.
Yeah, maybe she was having an affair. Who knows?
Maybe she was driving him crazy. No, that's probably not true.
I doubt it. No, this guy was just batshit crazy, and there you go. That was the last story I had of somebody was gonna. We don't know if he was gonna kill him, but I mean,
eventually.
Well, their presumption is that he was going to conduct a gland surgery.
What?
He had stolen all of this medical equipment. He was going to. That's why had shackled him to a mattress on the fucking floor. He was going to put the fear of God into him by like slicing him up and doing a gland surgery. I don't know.
Gland surgery?
I don't know. There's lots of fucking glands in the body, and he was not a doctor, so who knows?
Wow.
But his backup plan was very obviously, I might not get this right, so I better keep a hatchet and some boxes and shit nearby.
That's bizarre. He's so lucky to have escaped.
He is lucky to escape.
He's probably dead now.
Well, this is 1924. I'm pretty sure he's dead now.
Probably dead now.
I tried. There wasn't enough time, but
He could still be alive.
No, he was born in like 1890.
Oh, right. I was thinking if he was
33
born in 1924.
No.
Yeah, see, we both suck at math. If he was born in 1924, he might be alive.
Do you not remember? I was in banking for years, and I had to in several institutions, and I had to
institutions.
Banking institutions.
Yeah.
I was at banking institutions.
Okay.
And I had to get another job before the last one realized I was bad at math.
Okay. All right.
All right. No institutions for me. That's all I got. Dear Lord.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for. Hey, everyone.
Gee, we haven't even made it through the second bottle.
I know. I don't know what's happening. I keep thinking about that frozen pizza.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's wrap this shit up now because there's some frozen pizza in our future. And yeah, so I guess we should say our intro and our outro music is H is for Horse by
Moonlight Magic.
Yeah. And
check them out on Spotify. Check us out on All Things Podcasty.
Oh yeah, we got so into this, and we never thought to remind you all that you know what? If you like us, tell everyone us about us. Hey, give us a review. Those reviews really help us. Tell people. Should they say, "Hey, they're crazy"? Or
sure, that might say whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
it's probably all true.
I was not in an institution.
No, you were not.
Oh, why are you rolling your eyes? That's not nice.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you listening to us, and we look forward to coming back
in the next episode once we're let out of the loony bin.
You can't say loony bin.
Oh, we can't say that? The funny farm?
No, you can't say that either.
Oh, the
institution.
Okay. Oh wait, why did I guess? Why did I do that? Oh my God. It's like Stockholm syndrome.